All right. Sorry about that, everybody. That my phone lied to me about what its orientation was, and then that screwed everything up. Let me there we go. Okay. I think we're up and running now. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. I really wish there was a way to like restart a live stream without having to completely end this darn stupid thing and start over. That's really irritating. Yes, evening to you as well. Hey, there's Andir. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've only ever seen it written. Boy, we're off to a wonderful start here. I think Nathaniel's thankful for his water. Well, yeah, a little bit. Tell you what, though, I am thankful for warm bathrobes. That's what I'm thankful for. Making me think of the second Doctor. So yeah, it's not a coat, it's a bathrobe. This actually, I'm kind of sneaking this in a little bit because I actually bought this and I keep this at my house for Liz because she gets cold so much. We call this the wildling robe because it reminds us a bit of, oh God, what was her name? I want to say Ygritte from Game of Thrones, the one who shot Jon Snow in the back. Are you aware of the No BS channel's Twitter account being raided with posters from G-Force? It's amazing. There are multiple words right in that question that I don't know what they mean. So, sorry, I got nothing there. Warm bathrobes are my way of saving money on heat. Yeah, this house in Vermont, not cheap to heat. So, how you doing? Doing all right, not too bad. Love the robe, thank you. Did you hear that Onesian got banned from Patreon? I didn't because I don't know who that is. I feel like people expect because I'm a creator that I'm much more familiar with like all the creators, even vaguely similar to what I do, except I'm really not because I'm making stuff instead of watching other people's stuff. So, yeah, a whole bunch of this stuff I just don't know. Well, I got Disney Plus. I'm liking it so far, but I wish they had more of the vintage shorts. Oh, do they not have much of those on there? That's annoying. Oh, well. Yes, you must know all of the creators and the patrons. Yes, personally. We all gather for water. Okay, boomer. Robe would make Slughorn proud. Ooh, not sure that's the person I want to impress, but I do like this thing. What do you think of the new Doctor Who trailer? Was there another one from the one I did a video on Sunday? Because if not, I dedicated a video to it already. I can't believe that James Rolfe is a fan of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. James Rolfe is he's Angry Video Game Nerd, right? Yeah, I could buy that. Not to my knowledge, like there's some, but I don't see every single one. Also, not sure what to make of The Mandalorian, honestly. I've seen the first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, and my stance on it hasn't really changed. I think it's well made. I'm not sure that I like it, but it's one of those instances where the reasons I don't like it don't make it bad. They just make it not for me, if that makes sense. And that's not, and saying not like is an overstatement. I'm liking it well enough that I'm going to stick with it. I plan to watch the series through, but I don't love it. But I can definitely see where other people would. And I don't think there's that much inherently wrong with it, aside from like some of the nitpicky stuff I talked about when I did my review of the first episode, which I assume is just me being really picky. Thoughts on the new trailer with the Cyberman called Dr. A Boomer? Okay, I think people are just messing with me now. Ever seen the Everything Thanksgiving Ever video? It's a hilarious video. Everyone thinks Thanksgiving is about family and food until the youngest kid calls it out, calls out its genocidal origins. I mean, I've never seen that video, but you know, I've seen Adam's Family Values. I'm well familiar with the problematic origins and the mythologizing around the holiday, but I also don't celebrate the holiday because of its supposed origins. I celebrate the holiday because it's a good time with family and good food and lots of wine. Would you like to see the Master in Doctor Who? Yeah, eventually. And the new trailer, Clara returns and these orbital up because why not? See, now you've tipped your hand. Now I know you're messing with me. Should there ever be a meetup for council members at a bar? Let's call it the Watering Hole Meet and Greet. I would, in a dream world, when I start to get out to more conventions, I'd love to arrange for something like that. But right now, I get to them so infrequently, and like, while I'm grateful for the audience I have, you know, I'm still shy of 40,000 subscribers, and just given the spread of people, like a third of the people who watch me are in the UK. I think it's hard to pull too many people together. Also, I'm not used to thinking about Thumbelina and Sound of Music as now Disney products. Oh, when did they get their hands on those? Did those used to be Fox? Is that why they have those now? I don't know. It's odd. They own everything now. Which master would you like back? What do you mean, which master would I like back? You do a new one. They closed out the story for the other two, from Modern Era. You do a new master. Maybe do a meetup at Gallifrey 1. I mean, I might float it out there to see who else is going to be there. I know of at least one person who will be at Gallifrey 1 who I absolutely plan to meet up with and catch up and give a nice hug to. But I don't know who else is going to be there. Like, if I can get a head count of who else is going to be there, maybe. I mean, we'll see. They also got the first two Home Alone movies. Well, that I knew. I remember those being Fox Productions. Which classic series stories you've not seen but are most curious about? Let me think. That's a good question, and I wish I had an answer to it. I think I'm actually most curious about Battlefield. I've heard a lot of very different things about that one. Have you ever bought any products from Goop? Not so far as I know. Planning on hugging Riley. Would you watch Super Hulock? Well, I know what Hulag is. I don't know if Super is like an added layer that I'm not familiar with. Biggest example of snake oil selling? The entire nutritional supplements industry. Just off the top of my head. That's an odd question. So, you know what? Let me bring this into the spirit of the season a little bit more. And express a bit of thankfulness. It's short for Supernatural. Oh, see, I don't know Supernatural at all, so I can't really help you there. So I mean, obviously, let me get the obvious stuff out of the way. I am incredibly grateful for you folks. If you're watching, if you're commenting, a Patreon share, any of it. As much as I tend to harp on, the pushing, hoping to get this to where this could be my entire job. and you know, and I hold on to that. I'm not going to let go of that. But the honest to God truth is that I have an audience that astounds me in size, in temperament. I'm really proud of the community that has been built at this point. And I don't want to say built by me. I think you folks have had actually more to do with it than I have, because the most I can claim credit for is pulling weeds because, you know, I'm not afraid to block people if I think it's necessary to do that. But aside from trying to remove the bad elements, the community that I see in my comment section, in the Discord, in the Patreon, here, in the live streams with the same people coming back, that's amazing. That is a level and a depth of support that honestly just kind of blows my mind. So I'm dang thankful for that, because you know, I started doing this on the presumption that nobody watches, and if that remained the case, I'm not sure I can say I would have stopped, but I would have slowed down. But you folks make me feel a lot more value in what I do. And it makes me want to do it more. I got around to seeing Jojo Rabbit. It may well be my favorite film this year. Taika Waititi is a master of comedy in this generation. I do want to see that. I don't know if it's going to come around here. Excuse me. I'm thankful for the times when I make you laugh. Not gonna lie, this channel has become my happy place. Oh, I'm glad to have you here. Turns out that Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to have a cameo in Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Okay. And I don't think that cameo-wise, I don't think they'll ever do better than the Daniel Craig cameo, because that was brilliant. Who do you think is coming after the 13th Doctor? Like, most assume... Oh, you mean like hunting her? Most assume the Cybermen, but think it could be something from the classic era, like the Valiard or Omega. I'm not a big speculator by nature. The Cybermen would be an easy hook in, and the only reason I sort of hesitate to think that it might be anything else is then it becomes like, well, how many different things from the past are you going to bring in? It's one thing to bring in a thing or two from the past, but if it's not the Cybermen, and it's not the Scorpion type Rakdos that it looks like we've got, and presumably it's not the Daleks, so, you know, that means that in addition to all that stuff that we know is coming, it's something else that is also coming back that we haven't known. And at that point, with only 10 episodes in the series, you are burying it in old stuff. And I kind of hope that's not the case. So if that is the case, I almost kind of hope it's the Cybermen, just so we're not getting an overload. I'd like to see the Ronnie come back and maybe ready to be a better character, because I think she had some potential. I mean, I guess there was potential in the concept. I just don't really know if there was enough for it to be worth taking another crack at. You know, I'm not going to say there was nothing there. I just don't even think that what she as a character had the potential to be is really all that interesting at the end of the day. And maybe part of that has to do with the fact that I feel like Entrapped on She-Ra is like the best version of that concept. You know, the nearly completely amoral scientist. I think I know what's coming after the Doctor in this series. It's toxic fans of the Daleks. You layered that one. Nicely done. If you could recast the Master, who'd you choose? Cumberbatch, Jude Law, Tom Hiddleston, or Hugh Laurie? Well, I mean, if you're gonna force me to choose one of those, I would give it to Laurie because I think he'd go more subdued with it, which I kind of want to see, given that the last two Masters we've had were really bombastic. One in a way that I did like, one in a way I didn't. But you know, that's all. We've kind of gotten that flavor twice now. I'm thankful and all, but if anyone steals any of my green bean casserole, there's going to be hell to pay. My daughter's mother introduced me to green bean casserole. That was not a staple of my Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving when I was growing up, well, actually for me was largely about the pie, because oh boy, I was an only child. And at most of the Thanksgivings I was at, I was the only child. There were like one or two where like my uncle came and brought his kids who were older than me. But failing that, like when they came around, I was the only kid there. And I didn't like the pies that they would make. They'd make a pumpkin pie and a mincemeat pie, which I guess was traditional for like my mother's generation and her mother's generation. But I didn't like either of those. So they'd make me a chocolate cream pie that was mine. Like other people had it, but like I knew it was there because of me. And that was absolutely the highlight when I was growing up. I've expanded my palate a little bit since then. I want to see the Celestial Intervention Agency. According to Big Finish, the CIA created the Valeyard, so that'd be interesting. I mean, can they find something else to call it? Because just calling it the CIA always throws me off because, you know, that's a real thing where I live. I got a lot of crawfish pies coming my way this Thanksgiving. I mean, if you love them, great, but like, ugh. I don't mean to yucky or yum. I'm sorry. That's like a gut visceral reaction. I'm really sorry. I'm thankful for the Doctor Who fan base is a little better behaved than the Star Wars fandom for all their problems. Actually, yeah, I'd kind of give you that. At least death threats aren't thrown towards the talent. Well, not with any massive regularity, at any rate. Stuffing or dressing? Oh, stuffing. Here was the funny thing. Stuffing is one of those things that I thought I didn't like when I was growing up. But then when I got older, I realized I wasn't having good stuffing. But at this point, like, so Thanksgiving for me at this point is 5 people. It's me, my daughter, her mother, my daughter's mother's boyfriend, and Liz. And the 5 of us all sit down and eat. And my daughter's mother does the cooking because she's amazing at it. And she makes the best stuffing. It is so good. Oh. Cass, whoever you like, I'd love to hear your opinion. I mean, the thing is, Ray, I'm not a dreamcaster by nature. I don't really have a pick. I'd much rather be surprised by someone who I couldn't have thought of. How accurate do you think the Doctor Who rumor is about previous female incarnations before Hartnell? I don't think that holds water. I mean, the thing is, there were points in the history of the show where it was intended to be implied that Hartnell was not truly the first incarnation of the Doctor. But at this point, they have really locked that down. I think it was Brain of Morbius that they implied that there were other incarnations prior to Hartnell, but that's really all been shut down. Logistically, there's no space to sneak another incarnation in anymore. I really want Philosophy Tube to play the Master. Okay, that would be very cool. Oliver Thorne as the Master, I would, like, even if it was like a Red Nose Day thing, like just once, I'd be very down for seeing that. I think Adrian Gillen would do great as a more slimy, scheming iteration, even though it'd be a bit unoriginal. I don't know who that is, so that one I'm going to have to take your word. I break out into a cold sweat at random sometimes. Why do you suppose that happens? I don't know. Talk to your doctor. Thanksgiving 2013 was really interesting because it was the only time in my lifetime where Thanksgiving and Hanukkah happened at the same time. Oh, very cool. I'm thankful I've lived this long without telling the public. I really love The Last Jedi. Well, you made it this far. Had to end the streak sometimes. Not the streak of not telling the public, the stream of having lived this long, because now you're going to be hunted down and it's going to be very unpleasant. So apologies for that, but it has to happen. Joking. Like, I always feel slightly annoyed having to clarify that I'm joking, but then at the same time, I'm like, let's not risk it. I'm joking. Did you agree, did you see the SNL high school theater sketch? Will Ferrell's drama teacher reminded me of Snape. I haven't. I don't really like Will Ferrell, like very much at all. So I gotta lock my doors. That's cute that you think that'll help, Andrew, but if it eases your last few days, well, go ahead, you do that. My mother made a Philadelphia cheesecake. Would anyone like a piece? What is the difference between Philadelphia cheesecake and New York cheesecake? Because I've heard them referred to as separate things, but I think I've only ever had New York style cheesecake, so I don't actually know what the difference is. I don't want to see The Master again. After the ending of Misty Stories, I have no interest in seeing future Master. It seemed the perfect way to end the character. I mean, like, I wouldn't mind. I kind of chalk it up to, when it comes to long-running villains, that they're going to come back sooner or later. I wouldn't have a problem if that was the end of it, but, like, there's no way it's going to be. Adrian Gillian was Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. That's why it'd be a bit unoriginal choice, The Master. Yeah. No, I'm not feeling that one. I mean, I can see it, but I don't love it. But that's me. At least there we go. At least let me live out my vacation. Just give me a week. Look, man, it's out of my hands. I don't know why you're trying to negotiate with me. You have brought down the karmic hammer. This is out of my hands, man. I'd like to see James Nesbitt try the Master. I know that name, but I don't know why. When it comes to the Master, it's not a matter of if, but when she comes back. Well, yeah, I agree with that. I'm thankful I was able to restart my life in Santa Fe, where my bisexuality is much more accepted. And after moving here, I was able to help my aunt through a very difficult time. That, Ray, is wonderful. And thank you for sharing it. I'm super stressed because for the first time, I'm going to make an apple pie and a sweet potato pie completely 100% from scratch. Best of luck. Have wine on hand. Have you ever heard that a host of Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire has attacked Mr. Rogers for corrupting boys with what he called metrosexual wimpiness? I've heard conservative-leaning media personalities make not those exact words, but make that claim that Mr. Rogers was somehow damaging to a generation by telling people that they're special. And just the idea that some people think that that's a bad thing, that people think that they matter, that really, I don't want this to turn too political, so I don't want to dig into the mindset behind stuff like that too much. I'm thankful for the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. I want to know where the Baby Yoda merch is. I've read that, like, it's now coming. I'm like, how did you not have that ready to go? Because Baby Yoda is going to be like #1, geek stocking stuffer. How are those not already made? I feel like they dropped the ball. I feel like the same thing happened with Baby Groot. That, like, you should have been able to come out of Guardians of the the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Say nothing of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You should have been able to come out of the first Guardians of the Galaxy and buy a dancing baby Groot in the lobby on your way out. And like we had to wait months for that. Like marketing people, get on your freaking game, man. I say man a lot when I drink. I don't know why. If anyone asks, I've moved to Australia to live out my remaining days with the spiders. The spiders are not going to be any kinder, man. And there it is again. What is going on? Do you think the Master should be played by a British person only? Well, yeah. Same with the Doctor. I think because of how closely those two are linked, basically it gets grandfathered in by the fact that I think the Doctor should always be played by a British person. So, sadly, this isn't the first time Mr. Rogers has been maligned for being kind. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. If I were Chris Crocker, I'd make a video shouting, "Leave Fred Rogers alone, you bastards." I don't think you have to, because I think the vast majority of the human population just goes, yeah, no, leave him alone. Like, there have been very few perfect human beings who have walked to this earth, but he's got to be in the running. Like, seriously. I've been watching Hannibal, the TV series. It's gotten me really into cooking. On that note, I'd like to invite you over for dinner, Sharpen's Knife. Oh, goodness. If you are actually getting into Hannibal, I congratulate you, because that is a very cool show. I love The Last Jedi too. Good thing I'm traveling over the vacation to an undisclosed location. I'm pretty sure there is a specific Last Jedi branch of Witness relocation. But seriously, I'm happy for my brother. Happy my brother, my two cats, and myself are alive after my house fire, and I want a baby Yoda and a date with the Mandalorian. Cheers to that, Donna. I'm now laughing at the spiders reacting angrily to The Last Jedi. So, do you think angry spiders, do they just sound like the Ragnos Queen? How could you enjoy that film? It ruined Luke Skywalker. Have you watched Encore on Disney Plus? Nope. Haven't even heard of it. Don't know what it is. I hope one day I'll have a slice of turducken. Why? That whole thing is one of the most bizarre concepts I've ever heard of. It's like if memes were food. I wish they would make a real Steve Irwin movie. Like they've made so many good ones about amazing people. I really think he deserves it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some rights issues there, because I know his name, his image, his story is pretty well protected by his family. And I don't mean that in like they'd like block a film being made sort of way. But I think anyone trying to make one would want their go ahead, and they really seem to be holding a very tight control over his legacy, which probably is a hindrance to getting a movie made. That's speculation on my part, but at a guess. There is a place where we who like The Last Jedi can hide far, far away from normal people. In the shadows, we shall hide until the rise of Skywalker is good. We know it will happen. Look, for as much crap as I give, I hope Rise of Skywalker is good. That would make me very, very happy if it was. I do think it was a poor portrayal of Luke Skywalker. From what I understand, even Mark Hamill had issues with it, but had no control over it. Oh, God, why did I open this can of worms? So there's a rumor that Pattinson's Batsuit will be a return to classic blue and gray Batman. With this, do you think it'd be cool to take notes from Gotham and make it dark and campy? I mean, I don't even know what I want out of a Batman movie at this point. Like, I'm not sure I would want that because, like, I've got Gotham. I don't think I need the movies to be aping Gotham's, aims and aesthetic and approach. It's a reality show where former high school theater kids come back to perform a show they were in the span of 5 days of rehearsal with Broadway directors. Oh, that's kind of cool, but I also don't like reality television, so I would probably skip it anyway. If memes were food, sounds like an all too realistic dystopia story. If you want to see a good protection of The Last Jedi, watch the video by Cosmonaut Variety Hour. Look, I have seen and heard many well put together defenses and boostings and praisings of The Last Jedi, including by some people who I consider to be friends. I still don't think it's good though. I'm sorry. I don't. I think part of the problem for me, and this comes up every now and then. Part of the problem for me is that so many of the things praising it don't address a lot of the problems that I have with it. So that always puts me in an awkward position because, the early reviews were just saying what they thought was really good about it. Cool. I watched it, had a lot of problems. But what makes it really awkward for me is the problems I have are not the ones that the most vocal parts of the fandom have. So what that means is whenever somebody puts out a video defending The Last Jedi, they're defending it against the arguments I'm not making. They're defending it against the arguments of the really loud people who are really angry about things like Rey and Luke and I'm fine with most of that. I don't have the problems that the defense videos are addressing. And the problems I do have, I've never really seen a decent defense mounted of. Either because other people don't think that they're problems, or that they don't think it's something that needs to be addressed because it's not what everyone else is shouting about. We got to get off Star Wars, folks. For real. Oh, what are your problems then? I have multiple videos talking about The Last Jedi. Go dig them up. I'm moving on. All right. I've been trying to keep up with the chat. At this point, some stuff has whizzed by me. So if I've missed your question, you may have to ask it again. Which film in your mind is the best out of the MCU? Mine is Avengers still. So much fun to watch and great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Well, I will always distinguish between best and favorite. Because my favorite might still be Spider-Man Homecoming. I think the best... These days, I think I might make an argument for Civil War, Captain America Civil War. I also liked Fear Her a lot, Love and Monsters, Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls, Thor the Dark World, Iron Man 2, Stranger Things 2. Why do I tell the public this? Because at this point, you're just baiting, and you know it. You're clearly the master of it. About to finish listening to Order of the Phoenix, bit better when read by Jim Dale. If you ever listen to it, be prepared for Luna's voice. I severely dislike Star Trek Discovery, but not for any reason that some effed up haters had. That's somewhat of a new thing with fandoms. They're getting hijacked by certain groups. That is legitimate. That is legitimately a thing. So somebody earlier said how they're thankful that the Doctor Who fandom has not gotten to the level of sort of eating itself that the Star Wars fandom has. And I think there is a reality to that, because I think that, so in both cases, it's just a fact that there are trolling elements either for fun or because they think it actually promote something that they want to have happen, that overtake fandoms. They inject themselves into it. They infiltrate a fandom and then stir the pot and really try and get things falling apart and imploding. And some fandoms lend themselves to that a little bit more depending on what buttons get pushed. So with Doctor Who, the big button push was female doctor. Ah! And yeah, there are some people, legitimately fans, who legitimately have a problem with that. But I think time is bearing out that not an especially high percentage of fans of Doctor Who haven't had the visceral inherent problem with that. There are some, but that wasn't a huge sliver. Whereas with something like The Last Jedi, people latched onto the treatment of a character like Luke, and obviously a lot of people have a lot of investment in how Luke gets treated as a character. So I think in that case, instigators were able to carve out a larger slice of the fandom, and so the destruction has been a bit more severe in Star Wars compared to, say, Doctor Who. Which is not to say I've loved what's gone on with Doctor Who fandom in the last few years, but, you know, comparatively. To everyone who says they miss how Doctor Who used to be, congratulations, you can go back and watch it. This is true. Ever gonna bring back the green screen TARDIS? Unlikely. I'm not opposed to using the green screen again. And part of me would be really curious to see how it would look at this point, because I'm using different editing software than I was, and a different camera than I was when I used it previously. So maybe it would look better now. But the thing is, it's just a pain in the butt to set up and to use. And I don't really have anything planned where I want it enough. It's one of those things that, like, if I had somewhere or a reason to set it up in a permanent location, then maybe. But like the idea of setting it up and taking it down, I'm like, it's not worth it. Not for the kind of videos I make. So like I said, it would have to be some kind of special project, then maybe. Kind of like, kind of like how the comics handled the other theory, explaining that it was the 11th Doctor who ended up in the past before Gallifreyans had control over time travel. Oh, is that how they ultimately retconned that? Cool, I can roll with that. Because what it was going to be originally under like the Cartmel-Mester plan or whatever it was, I did not like that idea at all. We are as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided. Good quote. I liked Sucker Punch. Ooh. I'll tell you what. Sucker Punch is a fascinating failure of a film, in my opinion. I think it's a mess, but it's a really interesting mess. It's a mess I'm glad I saw the one time, but woo, that movie is something else. I'm actually gonna hop back over to the Discord real quick. Obligatory plug, reminder, Discord's a Patreon exclusive perk. Hop on over to the Patreon, links in the description. Woo! Self-promotion! Give me money! I don't know what that voice was. Hey, I thought Christmas was here already. What is this Thanksgiving? Gabe, so help me. Maybe it's thanks for giving us more Christmas. I'm thankful for the Council of Geeks and for finding out about it one weekend while in Pennsylvania visiting my mother. I have really enjoyed the content and live streams, and it's become a regular part of my week. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, and now we're sharing stories. I found Council of Geeks after YouTube kept suggesting why the Doctor should never be a woman video. Because of the topic, I was skeptical, but thankfully I watched it. I've been a fan ever since. Oh, that's so funny to me that I've got people who first found my channel because of that video. Oh, man. I leave it up because it's a relevant artifact of how I felt at the time that I made it, but wow. I wonder if it's that video that snagged me. It was definitely something about the Doctor being a woman. I remember being pleasantly surprised to hear a sensible argument on such a divisive topic. You know, I do my best, even on things that I've since changed my opinion on. I still try and represent myself well. I found Council of Geeks when I was looking for Doctor Who videos after catching up on Netflix before Series 11. We are the Council and we have ignored the topic. They did a bit, but I kind of love it. Tough topic. I'm thankful for our little community here and YouTube, my online and in real life friends, my significant other, and family. Wonderful. So to continue, I'm thankful also for my family, my friends, that I've found some great friends, a few different online communities, and this one. Honestly, I'm thankful for your channel. You give me an escape hatch to go to. You're really entertaining, awesome, and insightful. Jeez, you guys. Wow. I'm thankful for the Council's ability to explain queer issues in a way that makes sense to us non-queer people and without being judgmental. Oh, man. There I go saying man again. I don't know what is up with me tonight, but... So for half the live stream, I'll be in media class. Second half, I'll be at lunch. I'd like to say I'm thankful for the caring, thoughtful, and playful community we're building and the friends I've made here. Also for the faith and trust the Council of Geeks and you all have placed in me to protect and watch over it. This is Carolyn, who is a moderator. So yes, she has proven herself more than worthy of that responsibility. I'm very thankful for Vera/Nathaniel and the big effort they put into this wonderful channel. Thank you so much for your kindness towards others that help others to be kind to themselves. Also, I'm thankful for my husband who helps me figuring out who's helping me figure out what my newly discovered sense for my asexuality means for me and our life. I'm just glad that your husband's supportive. I think Nathaniel's thankful for his water. Oh, jeez. New York style cheesecake you can have with coffee in Philadelphia. Philadelphia style cheesecake uses Philly cream cheese. Ah, okay. So anything else on Disney Plus you're watching or watching new? No, not really. Not at this point. I'm thankful that you keep your channel such a respectful place to chat with others. It's a really good environment to have a civil conversation with others. I'm also thankful I enjoyed season 8 of Game of Thrones. Hey, if you did, that is something to be thankful for. Okay, that's the Discord. I am back now. Thankful for my family and friends. Awesome. Let's dance, people of chat. Oh dear, what am I missing? What were your thoughts on Endgame Thor? It made sense as a character, but there were other ways they could take the character. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Like, my feeling coming out of Endgame was that they overplayed the weight thing. But I also say that as someone who's who more or less meets the current standards of beauty, and nearly everyone I know who is a person of size thought it was awesome. So I think I'm just gonna shrug and go. It seemed to connect with the people who I would have been concerned would have been hurt by it. So I'm gonna default to them. I love Man of Steel. I will never hide from it. There's some interesting confessions going on in here. So, okay, with what went on in the Discord, I'm now kind of curious. Folks in the live stream, what was the first video of mine that you saw? Or maybe if you saw a couple things here and there, what was the one that convinced you to subscribe? I'm kind of curious. Consider this to be a snap poll. Have you ever watched the extras on Endgame, and if so, which was your favorite? I haven't as yet. I'm thankful, yet somehow very regretful for being the one to start the of the Daleks running joke. Sucker Punch needed that bit of gut punch to show tragic consequences at the end. And the thematic coherence. A good end would make it a truly not forgettable movie. I don't think Sucker Punch is forgettable. I remember that thing. I'm thankful for finding this channel, as it's nice to watch Doctor Who and other reviews from someone who can formulate their negative opinions in a way that doesn't upset me. I consider that to be the highest compliment. Thundercats vid was the first one I saw. Oh, man. See, like, that makes me smile because that isn't really even one of the more well-viewed ones. That had pretty low views on that. So the idea that that one was somebody's first, that is really cool. I think the first video I saw was the gay Dumbledore video, which was odd considering I'm not a big Harry Potter person, but I love LGBT discussion. Very cool. The channel awesome and the queer baiting. Yeah, I had those kind of come up back to back, and they both blew up on me a bit. So that's not too surprising. I just got here. What does your mug say? My mug says, gender is imaginary. I saw the Doctor Who videos first of yours, and it brought me to your channel. Not sure of the specific one. Fair enough. There's a lot of those. Can't remember was a Doctor Who one. I suspect that's going to be the case for a lot of people. Doctor Who related, can't remember which. I think it was on Hellbent. I remember that I just watched a Stu Bagful video though. First one I saw, I think, would have been your Hellbent rant. I don't remember for sure. Okay, so that would have been the worst episodes written by Stephen Moffat video because, yeah, that's where I went full rant on that thing. Generally, when people talk about my Hellbent rant, that's the one they're talking about, not the two videos I actually made reviewing the episode proper, because how much I hate Hellbent has more solidified since I did those. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to back up. Was a while ago. Would have been something about Capaldi, maybe. I can't recall. I know it started with your series 10 reviews. I think I stayed on with either your ranking the Doctors or the Master videos or your Big Finish stuff. I'm sure it was Doctor Who related. Yep, that tracks. I just got my brother to subscribe. He likes your intelligent take on things. Oh, thanks, Donna. I found you because YouTube kept recommending your recent rankings of the various incarnations of the Doctor. Sometimes the algorithm does me a solid. Not always, but sometimes. I don't remember what it would probably have been Buffy related. Oh, that's not even that many options then. Love your content and your hair. Thank you. Your response to the news of Jodie Whittaker. Okay. First, Council of Geeks. Damn, that will take some scrolling through my likes. I don't remember which video made me subscribe. I remember watching the channel Awesome video and then checking out some Doctor Who videos. Yeah, again, that one did pretty well for me. I've said it before, but my first video of yours I saw was Harry Potter and the heteronormative standard. 'Twas very good. I'm proud of that one. I'm proud of I'm not ashamed, I don't think, of any of the videos that I have up, but there's some of them that I'm like, yeah, I did real good that day. Yep, Doctor Who videos. The critic that shall not be named. Yep, Doctor Who videos. Yep, that's coming up a lot. Love the mug. Thank you. I don't even remember what the first video I saw of you was anymore. I've been following you for 2 years at this point. Oh, so yeah, lots of possibilities that could be. Things Doctor Who needs to stop doing. I think that was the first video I saw. Subscribed the same day, if I remember right. That is my most viewed video to date. But unicorns aren't imaginary, right? No, of course. Andrew, come on. Everyone knows unicorns are real. It's a joke, man. Your video autoplayed your Regenerations ranked video when I was half asleep. I wasn't a Whovian before. I am now, after I heard you talk about Matt Smith and loved. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. That's cool. Have you seen Has-Been Hotel? Nope. I do not know what that is. How's Liz? No one asks about Liz. Liz is very well. Liz has a pretty easy week because, short school. I think they're actually already done. Like, I've got work tomorrow. She doesn't. So Liz is doing quite well. Same for me. Doctor Who video, but don't remember which. That said, I've come to appreciate your LGBT themed videos a lot too. That's great to hear. Found your channel via your representation videos. Cool. First one I ever watched was about the two Fantastic Beasts and them not going for it with Dumbledore being gay. Then the Lion King review. I really liked your take on things. That's one of my more successful ones from this year. And I haven't had a ton of occasion to get really angry this year. At least I don't think. That one was an angry one, though. I try very hard not to force the anger, even though, like, I think a lot of people, like, connect when I do that. Like, people still talk about the Hellbent rant as an example, or how shouty I got at the end of the queer baiting video. But I try very hard not to force that. If it's gonna happen, it has to happen organically. But yeah, the Lion King was a ranty one. I'm a goldfish, so I don't recall which video it specifically was. But looking at your uploads, it had to be over 2 years ago. That is crazy to me that some people are still following me. It would have been come January. It'll have been 2 years since I came out on the channel. Huh. Hadn't thought about that. So anyone who's been following me for 2 years or more, as of right now, you watched me before I was out. How crazy is that? Out publicly, at any rate. I just looked back through my old account to try and figure it out. I caught on right after Series 10. It was either your video on Jodie Whittaker announcement or your Dr. Falls video. I found you because I was watching movie reviews, best movies of the year, and rewatched your Doctor Who videos later, seeing you on the BBC commercial. That's great that you found me after noticing that. That was a bit of a snafu, though. That whole thing. That wasn't supposed to happen. I can't remember if I've talked about that or not. Your earlier videos show how much you've grown. Oh, thank you, Donna. I do think the scene in Endgame where Thor gets his old hammer back made Fat Thor worth it for me. It was a beautiful, heartbreaking moment. Also, I like that, like, getting his hammer didn't suddenly make him not that way again. That would have been cheap. I remember watching your coming out video, so it must have been before that when I started watching. Been around for a year or so before that video. Yeah, definitely a difference. And I remember it was the Ghost in the Shell controversy. Oh man, people hammered me for that. Oh, that was before the movie even came out, and I did the video on the controversy. People were hating on me hard for just the fact that I said the movie looked like it wasn't going to be very good. And then it came out and it wasn't very good. Shock of shocks, I called it. First video was the one that, and the one that got me to subscribe was, why is LGBTQ plus representation so hard? How did you decide to start the council, and where did you get the name? Okay, it's been a while since I've told this story, so I'll make it real quick. The name comes because originally this wasn't just me yelling at a camera. Originally, this was a series of scripted shorts, and the Council of Geeks referred to the group of friends that it was about, and that was why the channel had that name. I started doing the me ranting at the camera initially as just a way to have content in between scripted seasons of that. But then I eventually burned through my scripted stuff and I wasn't cranking out new scripts very quickly. And so the me rambling at the camera became the default mode of the thing. I kept the name Council of Geeks for two reasons. The first being it was kind of serving as a reminder to myself initially that I wanted to have other people on as much as I could. But unfortunately, that has become harder and harder to do as my regular collaborators had kids. But now, as is exemplified by the sign off, somebody actually suggested in the comments a while back that it was the commenters, the subscribers, the supporters who are the council. And I basically adopted that as the mantra. And I'm not the council, you folks are the council. Been here for more than 2 years. I remember the Q&A where you came out, it was like 2 years ago. Here's another 2 years, and another 2, and another 2. Thank you, Ben. Upcoming happy anniversary, by the way. Thank you very much. I don't remember the topic, but the first video I saw of you, I just assumed your take would fall under the knee-jerk toxic masculinity so common to geek channels. Boy, was I pleasantly surprised. I've actually heard that more than a bit. I think in some ways, I don't think it actually actively like ever hurt me, but I do think some people, I've heard it from more than a few people that they were reluctant to click on my videos because the way I present in most of the videos, i.e. with the hat, and my hair up, and the geeky stuff behind me, it was ringing the bell of a lot of geek channels that just were the kind of thing they didn't like. And like they had to have my stuff recommended to them a lot before they were like, fine, we'll try it. And then I ended up not being what they thought, which, happy to surprise people. I tend to rather frequently end up not quite being what people think. Having kids, lame. Yeah, I know, right? So bogus. I don't know why I turned into a surfer, dude. Wear the fez that's on the owl for the rest of the stream, pretty please. No, that's Hedwig's fez. I've got my own. And it's in the closet. Oh boy, that's an odd statement. Given that we talked about my coming out. I do surf. I've never surfed. I've never even tried to surf. The term geeks has gained some negative connotation thanks to a select group of channels. Yeah, fair enough. Rocking the bathrobe. Fezzes are cool. What's the name of your coming out video? Okay, if you go, it's not a video dedicated explicitly to that, but it comes up at the end. So it's my 10,000 subscriber Q&A video from January 2018. Tail end of that, I forget where, but it was the last question I answered, resulted in my coming out on the channel. So it was the first time I let my hair down. I mean, like you go further back, you can see my hair, but there's a very long stretch where it's always under the hat because I, had it styled in a way that was more gender bendy, and I stuffed it under a hat. Not completely to hide it. Part of it was just to maintain an image, but another part of it was it meant I didn't have to style it. It made my life easier. That's actually the original reason why the hat came into play, was because it meant I didn't have to fix my hair if it wasn't agreeing. And then it just became a look. So this January, your Frez is going to come out in a Q&A. Very funny. It's about the last 10 minutes of the 10,000 video. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, and I have a stake in the race moment with the hair. Who are the other people in the Council of Geeks logo? Okay, so right now there are 3 other people. This is in the updated logo that's now up. So I'm still front and center. Behind me to my left is Liz, who actually does appear every now and then. To my right is Ryan, who has been in one video this year. And then behind Liz is Paul, who hasn't been in a video since 2018. And Paul and Ryan were my most regular appearing guests. But like I said, they now both have kids. Actually, Paul now has 2 kids. So trying to wrangle everybody is just not practical these days. I still love to get them on again. And I mean, there are other people I'd like to have on. I would love, so like, oh God, a while back, can't even remember when, it might have been 2017. Can't remember now. I had a podcast project that I called Go Home Hollywood, You're Drunk, which I thought was really good. And people, it didn't like get big, but the people who heard it seemed to really like it a lot. And my co-host on that, John Van Loo, you might be noticing a recurring theme here, had a kid, and scheduling became a lot harder. But I've wanted to get him on camera for a long time, but like he's even less local than Paul and Ryan are. When he and I were podcasting together, I used to have him Skype in. So, you know, I mean, the problem is I live in the middle of freaking nowhere. And when my free time is, comes in weird times and days. So that's the ultimate hurdle to a lot of this. I watched about 60% of your videos on here and about 45% or so from your Vera channel. I just started on your new channel. Wow, that is an impressive amount. Like, because on here, I've got over 1,000 videos on this channel. Have you seen any of the BBC, HBO Dark Materials series? Can recommend. I haven't yet. I will be. I've been commissioned to. So yeah, that is going to be coming up next month. I'm going to talk about. I don't know if I'll do the whole series. I haven't been commissioned to do the whole series, but we'll see if it gets me in enough. The person who, it's actually funny because somebody commissioned me to review the first 2 episodes. Then someone else came in to commission me to review the first 2 episodes. And I told them someone else had, and they went, oh, okay, well, can I commission you to review the second 2 episodes? So I'm commissioned for the first 4 episodes of his Dark Materials. But the funny thing is, the person who commissioned me the first time, I feel like they are setting me up here a bit because they actually reached out to me and said, I think it'll be right up your alley. It has a prophecy and a chosen one. And depending on which of my videos you've seen or which of my tweets you've noticed or whatever, I have a strong distaste and am way completely sick and over prophecy narratives and chosen one narratives. So the fact that they pointed out makes me think that they might be setting a fox loose among the chickens. We will find out because I've never read the books and I didn't see the Golden Compass, although that was probably for the best in any case. I'm going to have to wrap it up soon, folks. I have an uncontroversial Star Wars question. Favorite lightsaber color? Although if you choose red, that could be controversial. And well, I mean, mine's red. That should maybe be your first clue. I don't know though. Like I don't. The reason I have a red one isn't because I'm like red's the best. It's because that is specifically modeled after Darth Vader's lightsaber, and that's what I wanted. I don't know if I would like truly have my own, and like could get a color, any color I wanted, not necessarily one that's been done, or you know been in the films or whatever. I don't know. I'd be inclined to say green, but you know, I never liked the design of the handle for Luke's green lightsaber in Return of the Jedi. Never liked it. So, but if I could design my own handle on that, yeah, probably green. I love your channel. It discusses geeky topics without people being children and screaming about how just because it's always been a certain way, it means it has to stay that way. Yeah, nothing has to stay the same. Although if you're going to change it, it'd be good to have a reason, just as a rule of thumb. I saw a Fight Like a Girl t-shirt yesterday. Thought of you. I live in Australia, so it was quite a surprise. Oh, very cool. Very random question for anyone. Any recommendations for a good Wii game? I have a Wii, but I got it secondhand. Like, it was basically gifted to me because someone else was done with it. I never really had the time to get into it much. Have you read the Watchmen graphic novel? What do you think about it? I have. I've read Watchmen. Watchmen, the graphic novel, is immaculate. It is impeccable. Watchmen, the movie, is one of the biggest friggin' thorns in my side. I really hate it. And if it wasn't so, like, completely not topical and nobody cares, I would so devote, like, a 40-minute video explaining why I friggin' hate it. Again, largely because the reasons I hate it are not the ones that other people who don't like it cite. So I think it's an interesting conversation. I don't know. Nobody's asking. So, and I don't yet have the level of support where I can pull like an H-bomber guy and devote a long video to something just because it's what I want to talk about. Maybe one day, but yeah, not yet. Did you hear DC licensed credit cards? Yes, we're getting a back credit card. One of the reasons I watched Gotham was so that I could watch your reviews. Wow. I was very bothered that I couldn't watch all of your videos, and of course, because you recommended it. Oh, that is awesome. Maybe a purple lightsaber. Maybe. I don't know. The thing is, lightsabers tend to look best when they're brighter colors. And when it comes to purple, I prefer deeper shades. So I don't know. In the new year, I might pay $100 to get you to read and review another culture book with more LGBTQ stuff in it. This one would be about 450 pages long. I tell you, man, the books I've been commissioned on so far, you people are not messing around. I'm in the home stretch of a book I got commissioned so that I can do the review next month. But after that, I got commissioned to read a George R.R. Martin book. Like, you folks who commission books out of me, you're killing me. Like, it's a nice problem to have, but dang. Somebody commission a novella. Don't watch the Golden Compass movie. It's awful, I've heard. After watching the first 3 episodes of His Dark Materials, I don't think I ever want to see the movie. I think I've liked all your videos by now because I swear it will protect you from the algorithm. I will protect you from the algorithm if it kills me. Aw. A mood lightsaber changes color with every mood. Ooh. Okay, I could go with that. Like, especially if, like, it turns red when I'm pissed off. So, like, I've got the lightsaber out, and it's, I don't know, it's a nice blue, it's a green, and then, you know, somebody just does the wrong thing, and it goes red, and everyone's like, oh, crap. That would be very cool. What's your least favorite movie ever? I don't know. Like, I honestly don't. I can tell you what the first movie was that I remember hating. Not just disliking, but hating. And it was Dead Man with Johnny Depp, a Jim Jarmusch film. I hated it so much. That's the first time I remember, like, loathing a movie. Like, being angry that I spent time watching it. I'm certainly finding the Watchmen HBO series interesting. Jeremy Irons is really fun. I mean, I'm only morbidly curious about that. It's been kind of surprising that almost nobody's been asking me, am I watching that? So I'm kind of getting the impression that it's maybe not the big splash everyone thought it was going to be. Favorite pronoun? Drink. Ugh. Vera, you think it's going to be out next month? The book review, Carolyn? Yes, it'll be out next month. I'm like 80% done with the thing. It will be done next month. Have you read Carmilla? I have not. Will you take 4 cents to read a book? That's all I've got. I like your channel so much, I turned off my ad blocker. Oh, wow. That's like the highest praise you can give. And I will take it. I can feel the seething rage through my screen. Mr. Robot. I watched the first 2 episodes of Mr. Robot I was commissioned to. I liked it well enough, just not enough to keep with it. Me says I like The Last Jedi. Your lightsaber redder than my face when I tell the lunch lady to also enjoy her lunch. Oh, goodness. Gotta dash. Have a happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. And that goes to Carolyn and everyone. I really hated the Aragon movie. I never saw it, never read the book, so no dog in that race. I should wrap it up. Yes, and thank you, Donna. Thank you for stopping in. Favorite steampunk story? I haven't actually read a steampunk story. I love steampunk as an aesthetic. I've read like a couple of steampunk-ish like comic book stuff. Like I've read Girl Genius, but I haven't read like steampunk novels or prose. I just love the aesthetic of it. That's kind of where my relationship with steampunk begins and ends for the most part. Oh no, I don't have water to drink. That's important. You got to hydrate. After the stream, I'll have a list of things that are universally hated that I loved. Putting 100 targets on my back, but oh well. I prefer cyberpunk. I like cyberpunk, but I've also been liking cyberpunk since the 90s, so I've kind of moved past it a little bit. Not like I never want to deal with it again kind of level of having moved past it, but like I feel like I got what I was going to get out of cyberpunk. Favorite video game? Final Fantasy VI. I don't even have to think about that one. Worst movie is Freddy Got Fingered. Ah, see, I've never seen that. And I won't. Unless somebody pays me. Have you ever tried tofurkey? Have not. Oh, what do you think of the Weeping Angels being Time Lords theory? I think that entire hint that was in Hellbent was stupid and pointless and offhanded and added nothing, and I haven't paid attention to the theories because I don't care. If you said you wouldn't read an review player, I was planning on getting you to read the worst movie I could think of. Oh, boy. I have been commissioned in the past by people who brought me on specifically to watch something that they didn't think I would like because they wanted me to tear it apart. But be careful, because that's backfired. The person who commissioned me to review the first season of Titans did it because they hated it, and they hoped I would too, and I didn't. So, if you're planning to try and torment me or set me loose on something to tear it apart, be careful. And also be careful if you're commissioning me because you hope I really like it or it's the things you really like. Because I'm pretty sure I've broken a few hearts by tearing into something that whoever commissioned me really loves. I'm gonna approach it the same way I approach everything. Do you think other villains will be used in Joker-like films, and would it work, or is Joker's character unique to that kind of story? I'm not sure there's a ton of villains that will that will work in a standalone, separate from the heroes they're usually put in conflict with. There was rumor of, I mean, it might still be happening, a Kraven the Hunter movie. That might work depending on the origin angle they go with. But yeah, off the top of my head, I don't really have any notions on that. I mean, the thing is, most villains are designed to exist within the conflict with the hero. They're not designed to be standalone entities. That's not to say they can't be, but like that's not how they're built in the first place. So the whole idea just strikes me as odd. You've never torn into something I've loved. Looks at the Master 3-part finale to Series 3 and cries. I know enough about your taste that I'm willing to roll the dice. Oh, well, fair. Will you watch Umbrella Academy? I did. I saw the first season. I didn't do a review because by the time I finished it, it wasn't all that topical anymore. I didn't binge it through it when it first went up. I had nitpicks, but I liked it well enough. I'm looking forward to another season. I don't watch your videos to agree with. I watch them because of how you present your thoughts and, of course, the entertainment value. Showbiz. I'm out of water. I am 20 minutes over my usual stopping point. I think we are due to wrap it up. So thank you very much for being here, for watching, for talking to me, for letting me talk to you. This is a bright little island of my week, and I really enjoy it. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. If you live in a part of the world that doesn't celebrate it, I hope you have a good rest of the week. And just remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, you are loved, you are the council. I just run meetings. Sometimes in a great, big, warm, fuzzy bathrobe. Happy Thanksgiving.